I'm really nervous, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start recording because I can edit it. But if I don't just get this over with, I'm gonna freak out. So uncomfortable. Fucking hate this. I just want to say that it's not easy. Every single group, if you do not fit in their box, they will just politely ignore you. And it's painful. And I would like everybody to know that. So I was in the process of compiling a slideshow, which I still am. I've watched the Decode Shakespeare probably about, I don't know, 3 times. Now I've seen it several times because I can't remember anything, so I like to just rewatch stuff. And because things come up, you know. So for example, I was already putting this show together, condensing it into a note form, the way that I like to do. And at one of the parts, so if you want to see the whole series, I did post the first episode is available on YouTube, so I did post that on my Facebook. So you can go ahead and find it there. Sir Alan Green, I believe, a beautiful man. So I want to go ahead and explain it's really hard to explain. Maybe I should just get into the puzzle and just let it explain. I don't know at this point. All right. So this is a 17 by 17 grid that is put into place as one of the codes that got deciphered. And you will see that in Hills, west southwest T aisle. The triple this is really hard. It's hard to explain. So in the decipher, it's signed D. Watch the whole series to have a better understanding. The hidden messages and everything that's in it. I'm not gonna fucking cry. Crying's inevitably gonna happen at the end when I do the Shakespeare sonnets. The Shakespeare sonnets are comprised into, you can look up the day of the year and it will associate to a sonnet, with there being 154 sonnets. There's some dupes and a couple trips per sonnet for days of the year, and that's really highly interesting. We'll get to that if we can. I don't know if I can even do. Wesley gets home in an hour and 40 minutes. Just please try and do this. I spend all my time crying. It gets exhausting. I mean, I know it's healthy, but I'm just trying to get this done. Okay. Basically, I am watching the show again and again, gathering notes, deciding what I'm going to put, how I'm going to go about it. And, I mean, I'm always looking for clues, and it seems like all the examples that he was pulling up, there was never anything to, I guess, what do you call it? gratify my thirst to see my name in it, look. And it was funny because, or any name that would mean something to me. So looking for KC, for Cyrus, Cook. I mean, you look for certain things, and they were just rare to come around. So all of a sudden, this came up again, and all of a sudden, I saw Cook. I mean, I saw look, and then I was like, well, if there's a C nearby, then there's my name. So there was a C. And it was just within a matter of 30 minutes. I deal with a lot of crazed, I don't talk to anybody about this. So I ultimately am dealing with a lot of stuff, and it's not easy, a lot. So just dealing with anxiousness, came back to it a couple times, got sidetracked a couple times. But this all just came out within minutes. And the next thing I saw was Father. And then I saw Hair. And then I saw Soul. And then I saw Tone. And then I filled it in, the next thing that I had really noticed, I came over here and I got the sonnets, and then I had noticed the South, and this is all within just about a total of 30 minutes after walking around and coming back to it. I mean, it just was there to see, I mean, you don't have to decipher it. It's just kind of just staring at you in the face, it felt like. So I had done a mock-up on the computer, but then just more stuff, and it's always nice to just really explain it, I guess. For me personally, I needed something like this, because to try and explain what I'm going through is very hard. No one wants to hear, and I understand why. We'll get to a lot more information later, but let's just go through. So, Cook without the E. Within this sonnet... Hold on. Oh, we're in here already. Hold on. My mouse is being a little touchy. The E is tilted right here. So that was to represent that, to fall away from, as king. But so it's just funny because... Cook without the E has always been my thing. But not like Anne. Anne is with an E, and of course Anne's a major name. So sonnets. Sonnets shares the O with Eno or Enoch 1 Neo. Butter also makes true, blind. The words that make hair, soul, and father also come together to make fairs. And then Northwest Seattle, Meet Me in Seattle at the Fair by Jim Cook and the Boys. Or I didn't say that right. I can't remember what it is. God bless my brain. So, we have Southeast, also C as in observe. We have ACE, CE, CA, California Hills. West Southwest T Isle is part of this up here, but of course, I was born in Santa Ana, California on March 4th, 1983. The Triple Tau, I found this interesting because I had figured all these things out, and then these letters were kind of the ones just lingering around that didn't get a word put to them, per se. If anyone were, you could look and find way more into absolutely anything, and that's what I encourage people to do, but... So the first thing that stood out was the direct line correlation on these SHH. And then if you were to continue the pattern, it would overtake the T for the fourth tau. And this is, of course, 3 A's, which also could be T's for Tav. The last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So I am the beginning and the end, the Alpha Omega, Aleph Tav, the beginning and the end. So AAA. Also, AAAS is an acronym used for the American Association of Advancement of Science. Of course, Hollywood, the origins of the holly tree. Okay, so then also when explaining the St. Kimberly book, I posted that on Facebook. I didn't put it on you. I got it. Anyways, I had wrote down LU, like learned university, and I just came up with that in the moment because it just felt right, but I just thought it was funny. So here we have LU, or maybe Las Vegas, LUV, because U and V is interchangeable in looks sometimes. So anyways, so and then TTL is the amount of time or hops that a packet is set to exist inside a network by discarding discarded by router. Yeah. Anyways, I think everything, just everything is connected. So I think that the more that at this point, robots and AI and aliens and zombies, the robots and zombies are the people choosing not to look at the factual information in front of them. And I think the more that you choose to take away all your preconceived ideas, motion, whatever, and trust in whatever truth is, things will happen. And obviously I'm here to deliver a message. I always thought life was boring. Live with passion was always something that was on my, because I was just never satisfied. No career was going to ever be good enough to satisfy me. But now it all makes sense. And I'm happy that I can say that I understand myself. And it's been a long process. And I still have so much more to go. But this has given me specifically a conclusion. That's all I need to know. The rest is in the magic of Pella. And but this has been something that I needed. So now I can just feel like there's nothing more that needs to, in my mind, be proven, because theories are there, but I really will not stick to something until I feel confident in it, and it still can always be changed. So I was going to say something, but I forgot, of course. So, of course, my grandfather, Jim Cook, soul, hair, and tone, this is the Southwest as well, and everything's just encompassed in this corner. The golden buttercup, it signifies wealth and emblem of Mars, originally Roman fertility god. Simplicity and low growing symbols symbolites humanity and neatness, once thought to cure insanity. Hey there, buttercup. Hey there, buttercup. Associated with mockery and childhood playfulness, used to define a loving of butter. I have so many weird theories too about Alzheimer's and dementia and like proteins and anyways. Also, one of my advocates in fight is that you do not need to fall into the government system of you need to go to college. basically, I feel like I have a lot of opinions, but instead of trying to argue my opinions like I always have, just do it or show it. Anyways, it's just the whole college thing has been a thing. Anyways, I'm gonna edit this. God help. So anyways, you know, this, I had already started in my mind. I can go way more into detail, but, you know, of course I was living in the city of Angels, Los Angeles, when I got my DNA results back and I started the search to find out who my father was. So then I moved back to Las Vegas, Sin City, and I remember thinking, you know, Sin City, you know, is going to become the city of angels, or you know, the transformation. Like, I already had that like fantasy in my mind, and I think that's why I think that we're in a matrix, and I think I'm looking for someone to prove me wrong, because this is either divine intervention, or I'm manifesting that. And I have to be honest, I mean, I have had a very imaginative mind, always alone, thinking, even as a child, imagining what it would be like to go back in time and do things to alter. I mean, and then when I started realizing my DNA connections to people, I started to deeply, I've always been empathetic to people, but it ended up being on a level. I cannot claim that I talk to any spirits or beings, or I guess I do talk to God. It's when I'm talking to myself, but it's not a person or an entity that's different than me. It's the better part of me having an honest conversation with myself, and it's personal. But anyways, like, Madame Valaus, or you know, like, I mean, if she is not just, if I'm not related to her, I just would be shocked. But I don't have any of my services. I probably looked her up. Surely I already did. She's in the storage unit. But, you know, Tesla and these things, like, mean a lot. Betty, I mean, it helps make me understand why I am the way I am in all the different aspects, right? But we can all do that, and I think it's a beautiful thing to understand. I have so many different theories, and again, they're all ideas and theories, and but there's information and a lot of evidence to back it up, and it's definitely a melting pot of conversation points that are worth looking at. And the problem is not enough people care. Oh, see, look at me. Okay, so I wanted to look into this. I can't remember what it was that made me want to look into this. Oh, but anyways, 007, that's his code. Within the series, you'll learn that each of a couple key people have codes, like 40 for page number and whatnot. So I found kin, of course. If in, you know, in my mind just never shuts up. So you could put the I with the N and make it Kim or Kem, right? So D's, or D, kin, D, and then it's arrows pointing down. And then it also reminds me of the constellation. So let's go up here. So, okay, so I'm already knee deep into this, and I'm like just completely nerded out, going through the intense emotions that is behind when things like this happen to me. however you want to say. So it's just a massive click. It's a massive download of information, however you want to define it. Just a whole bunch of information just sits and comes together. I was thinking the other day, it's almost like your mind's a bunch of puzzle pieces, you know, and every now and then just some pieces will slip into place. So educate yourself loosely and widely, and synchronistically. Honestly, it will just, things will pop out at you. Follow the pop out and just look, and then something else will pop out and you're like, most people, oh, that's weird. Well, follow up on it. There's a reason. And if it just kind of turns into be nothing, watch. I have shown this documented for the last couple years now. I have had things and I say, watch, this is going to have something to do with something. I'm not sure what, but it comes up. Trust your gut. So anyways, Folger, that goes back to the very beginning of my DNA search, and the one lady that came at me when thousands of people didn't respond, the two people, come to find out it had nothing to do with my father's side, but more on my mother's, though they're intertwined. But she was just so upset that I had some information in my private tree wrong. She knew that it, because of the way that ancestry works, like they give suggestions, right? And when you try really hard to keep things a secret, if you piece it together and put the correct, they'll try and put in the wrong information. You know, it's good enough if I just completely change the date, location, you know, of, I'm talking too much, but it's hard to explain. So anyways, so that led to the Folger line, which led to that Starbucks story that I've referenced before, right? So there's a second marriage with a Starbuck. And of course, we can go into that. But so the people that have a bunch of the original copies of Shakespeare, which you need the original copies because there are the errors that need to be there. They're part of the clues in the code. So the Shakespeare library, you can get digital online copies of the original. I was so depressed because I wanted the original. This book surely wasn't going to do because, you know, and it's all digitally available. You can download. Oh, it's so beautiful. So I go ahead and I look it up. So Folger is the name of the line, and then that's the line right at the very beginning. I was like, that lady was so sussy, trying to put me off on the right information I came across. You know, people need to use their better judgment. Smell something. So of course I dug more. And then people who put private high up on a tree is just annoying. So I go ahead and I think it's her mother's husband was Westmoreland, right? And that comes into play so much. That has come into play just recently. It's, you know, with Shakespeare, with Washington, just got a couple, so that's something. I knew it from the beginning. It's really coming into play. Also, real quick, when he goes to explain that in the center of the King James Bible, the shortest verse is 117 palms, or however you say, palms, palm tree. Anyways, I never thought of that before. Why not? Probably because I didn't say it out loud, maybe. 117 is the shortest, and it correlates with, watch the series, and then the next one, the longest, is 119, and it's a poem by a mysterious author, of course, whatever, but it's defined by the Hebrew alphabet in little stanzas, but I started to read them because obviously I had to, because it's my alphabet. And I mean, it's uncomfortable. The Bible usually makes me very uncomfortable. It's like your abuser. And that's one of the things that I want to understand is I don't know, like, how can someone with such deep knowledge and understanding of truth compose a way to reveal secrets within the Shakespeare, and I mean, once you look at all the information, you have to understand, how could he be willing to partake in the corruption of making the Bible? And that's my new question. But you know, there's a cook tied up into his story, so want to dig into more about that. So anyways, so I look up the Folger copy, and inscripted inside, is it in here? Or where's the internet? We'll just move this over real quick. It's right here. Okay, look at this. You gotta love it. All the colors mixed together, like the key that he describes. I just realized that. But it says Wodehouse, Kimberly, 1838. And it's like the wand, the Ace of Wand card. See that? So Folgers. So they just happen to have this Shakespeare library. So also the day that I realized this happened, I had stopped off at Goodwill and got, I've been really struggling on money, so much so that it's, so I've been fantasizing I needed some shelving, and I needed like another one of my TV trays that I purposed somewhere else, and I was like, God, I just want like another one, just one even, like that's all I was shelving. And so, if I go into town, go to Goodwill, and the jewelry thing, we'll get into that later. I can't even, like, if that's just not perfect little godsend, just perfect little things to make me happy for pennies when it's all said and done, and it just means the world to me. And I hope you guys can support by just the jewelry I don't want, or that I want to give away. You guys could maybe purchase or something and help support me, and repurpose. I think if more people went to Goodwill, and that's your money, that's your time, you can get very sufficient things. Those shelvings with the things, they're like $250 I got of value for $12, and it was what I needed. It's even the nicer version of what I had before. Anyways, and then I had 2 of the TV trays, each for $5 and some odd cents, and they are good quality. The legs fold up. The one's right here. You're not going to be able to see it. It's thin. I live in an RV. If this was a full tray, I would not be able to walk right here. I don't know if you could see that. Right? So anyways, it's weird because usually I talk to myself, so I feel like I need to look at myself, but I guess I'm talking to you there. So this was one of the broken pieces, and it's turquoise. So the Queen Travel Adventure East, right? So, oh yeah, I gotta get to that. So, where did it say that Queen Elizabeth nicknamed him Turk, okay, and turquoise for being the strength. Anyway, so he's the root of the golden tree. Look into why. So Turk is my great uncle Turk, my grandmother's uncle. My grandmother was a junior herself, so her mother was Ruth Senior. And there's a story, he was an avid journalist, so journaling his life. What better way to journal? But anyways, so they took a trip for Christmas from December 20th, 1945 to December 30th, 1945, traveling east. And his name was Turk, William, but everyone called him Turk. That was his nickname. Is that it? That's pretty simple. Cool. So now, oh, I didn't pull that up though. There is one thing I want to read, that whole story, because it's poignant. There's this one point, I'll just tell the snippet of it. During the story, in the beginning, they had to stop off, and Ruth Ellen, my grandmother, had to go to a doctor and get a shot. And, you know, people actually had personality back in the day, is what I've noticed. Just lack of personality. People have been numbed. But so they're bantering, you know, they're doing business, they're living their lives, but they're bantering. And so they're bantering, and the doctor is teasing the fuck out of her. I'm gonna go get the biggest, longest needle. And everyone's kind of giggling and laughing, and Ruth is sitting there pale-faced. So they come back and they're bantering, and they're just starting to, you know, it's one of the vaccines back in the day, during that time. I don't think they specified, it's on the thing, but and then they're just joking about it being you know, a horse needle. And anyways, so there's a lot more to it. I just started rereading it, looking for how things look today, because I rewrote that like a year and a half ago. I mean, again, like that St. Kimberly's book came completely after. What's funny is, it's weird that I didn't come across it. Well, I never looked up St. Kimberly before, but it's kind of weird that I never did, to be honest. Especially during that time when my ex said, "What do you think, you're a saint?" That was a pivotal moment when I thought to myself, well, no one is, but I mean, what's the harm in striving to be a good person, basically? That was a pivotal moment for me. But so this is something that my grandfather wrote. I think he wrote it for me. I'm not quite sure. It was written on a picture that he made for my mom of my military. You know, it's not a real suit. They just slap it on. But anyway, so the test is to see if I can get through all this shit now without crying. Because this is where the good shit comes in. I'm not even going to... Let's not fuck around. All right. Hold on. I just got this. Because we need to treat ourselves. I am so isolated and so stressed that I have been smoking like a chain. And I don't have the money. Because everything falls into place and happens just the way it needs. It's such a long story, but I mean, I need to quit smoking. I know I can, but it's the isolation. It's too much. Not the pot, but I'm saying the cigarettes. All right. So I'm going to read this. Pal of my cradle days, my mom. I love her. By the way, this used to mean a lot to me, but it means something a little bit deeper today than the last time I read it. Pal of my cradle days, my mom. I love her. I'm missing her always. My mom, you'd love her. Since I was a baby upon her knee, who wouldn't love her? She sacrificed everything for me, my mom. I stole the gold from her hair, that sweet somebody. I put those silver threads there. She thinks I'm somebody. I don't know anyways, my pal, I could ever repay my buddy, pal of my cradle days, my mom. There's no way I'm going to get through this. Everything I do, she has been my inspiration, especially when I'm blue. She has been my consolation. Honest and true, as years grow on her, I gaze upon her. She's my Madonna, my mom. I kiss the dear silver that shines in her hair. So there's here's the reference, so I don't have to get it. I put it back there, but I did put these to Messenger. Anyways, I thought it was interesting the way that they are like, are they purposefully using V's? But then sometimes they'll use as V's. I need to research the language of this time. Like that's an S. But then why is it? Why is it spelt that way? Because they're using a smaller S too. I'm so confused. There must be a reason. I don't know. Like, and what's that? A C? But I have questions. Anyways, questions. I could do this all day though. The problem is I have the stress of the world. I have to be able to take care of myself. You know, a lot of people have support. My mom supports me the best she can with what little she has. There's the thing. Oh, by the way, so there's something to do with something here, because this does land on April 1st. April 1st is from everything I've researched, should be January 1st. And what does that mean? Well, if we were to alter it, what would it mean? That would be a fun project, something that I will get to at some point, but I want to inspire other people to fuck around. You could be as forgetful and can't spell worth a lick. I literally have to write things down because I can't remember. I wish I could, but it's okay because there's a reason for it. Maybe that's the reason why I can see patterns, because I'm not so committed to, I don't know. So anyway, so I was looking up a word, trying to understand the definition or point they're trying to make with brass. A brazen person, or this is a brass serpent mounted on a snake. Around the copper serpent, men and women and children who have been bitten by poisonous snakes and look up to the copper to stay alive. Behind the right is a tent camp of Israelites, and margin, a 4-line caption in 2 columns in Latin. Just the four lines and 2 columns just kind of triggered me a little bit, but you know, that's the medical staff and whatnot. I'm just trying to understand the word brass better, and this is just the stuff that came up. Here's in the Bible, though I speak with tongues of men and angels, I have not charity. I am because as sounding brass, or tickling Kimball. There's that Kimball again. I worked on Kimball Road when this all started. Just everything was hitting at me. You know, the cabal. The Cimarron. I didn't get into that. It's in the slideshow, but the book of Shakespeare, Kimberland, the King. That's gonna have to come later. Cutting this stuff out. Men's manners that you provide for. There's the next. Oh, so this is interesting because I put it. So this was, I could go into the whole. I mean, I think I've talked about it before. Maybe not. I haven't talked about a lot of stuff. While I found my father, I already found out I was related to everybody. All I cared about was I wanted to find my mtDNA, my maternal line, because it was so hard. When I've been able to crack all these fucking codes, it bothered me. What's the fucking secret? And it just kind of kept leading to the same conclusion. To me, it's just really about the mtDNA. And then how it's attacked and how it's covered up and how everything is more important. Again, ISIS, you know, they're called ISIL or something. They want to associate ISIS as being a bad thing, as well as other things. So my grandfather had written this in a pile of stuff. I had a bunch of his tapes, which he was always sending you VH or tape decks tapes with music and videos or whatever. And I actually found the Mulder line book, which is probably the most accurate book, which is like the golden. So I actually had like not only information, I had the best of the best. Insane. But inside I never realized, like, I knew Jim, my grandfather, was eccentric, and I know now, I already knew that I have become so much like him, and there's so much more to it. But here's looking at you, kid. And the Lord said to Moses, Moses, come forth. Well, he came fifth, and he lost the human race. And he lost the race, the human race. And every now and then, we has got to go out there and get it back. Want to join me? Just put away your old Bible to rest. for a spell, and all agree on the above. As ladies and gentlemen of the human race and God, whatever you conceive of him, will smile on all. And then and this is so poignant, like, I'm like continuing his mission. I didn't even realize. This is the story about 4 people, everybody, somebody, and anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to do, and everybody was asked to do it. Everybody was sure somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought that anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when actually nobody asked anybody. And that explains why Jim Cook does what he does. Just to get the damn thing done. So on the back is interesting. Can you see this? It's Delfino Island. Apparently my uncle said that this was a reading done something to do with him, but he didn't really feel comfortable talking about anything related to my grandfather. And that's understandable. That's his choice. So, and that's fine. So, this has the ruins associated with Joseph Cook, James Cook, and it says, have Marianne unfold this reading. It's perceptive. And then there's a triangle, and then I think that says Jim, and it says a land dolphin. And I would really like to see if anyone could really see, like, it looks like there's, I have this on the computer, but, anyways, oh yeah, that's what I noticed today, just looking at this. Cook is 2 fish with the arrows that we just saw. The sonnets are gonna fuck you up. It's gonna fuck me up. So anyways, I was looking up, so my maternal grandmother, I'm smoking a cigarette. My maternal grandmother is, what time is it? Oh God, okay, now I have like 40 minutes to get this done. We're gonna see what we could do. So my maternal grandmother is a junior, and my father's side, my grandfather is a junior. Obviously, we know that the biblical connection with Ruth, but Conrad, and it's been bothering me because I've been researching this stuff. You know, it started with Ancestry for a long time, and Conrad has come up every now and then, but it's always struck me, I've always liked it, almost like Cyrus. I just love it so much. But Conrad, you know, it's always just been, I knew it would be something to do with something. Anyways, and it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with anything. I just think it's a beautiful, well, I mean, everything has something to do with something. Oh my God. Fucking serious. So con, you know, you think con, like a con, like you're being tricked, foolery, which, you know, keep in mind, that's also, you know, a way that it's used and expressed. So there's still validation within the energy of it, really. I mean, when you look at the world in a different way, we are all co-creating. So if there's a bunch of people who think that and go around singing that bitches are hoes, we are creating that reality. I mean, it really, if you want to really simplify it, and if you want to argue the point, then look into it. Just look into it and find the truth out for yourself. But that's, I mean, it's just as simple as that. So, con, which means with or thoroughly, appears in a numerous connect, consume, and conclude, right? Isn't that great? I thought that was great. Because, guess what? Oh yeah, I was looking up this. Oh no, where'd it go? I'm so unorganized. Where do I have my phone? So, wait for this. Prefix meaning of, or no, that's not what I said. Definition of rad.
According to Collins Dictionary, adjective.
No. Rad definition.
According to what?
Rad meaning.
Extremely exciting or good.
Rad prefix meaning. Oh my god. Rod. Rad prefix meaning. Oh, it's in my screenshots. This is so annoying. Where is it? Now I'm just getting hot in the face. I'm so pissed. Fuck. I thought it was in the middle of researching this when I did it. God damn it. Here it is. Fuck. Rad root meaning. Mid 15th century. Radiation, act or process of emitting light. A shining radiation. Noun of action from past principle. Stem of radar. To beam, shine, gleam, make beaming. From radius, beam of light. Spoke of a wheel. See radius. And then you could look and see what rad is, of which we talked about. Wheel, journey, message, carrier, right action. Okay. That's all I wanted to say. So, I'm going to read these sonnets. How much time do I have? So help me God. Am I going to cry? Probably. But you try not to. Okay. So these are the ones that I'm going to share. We're going to start with, I guess it would make sense. God, I don't know if I could do this. How the hell am I supposed to do this? Let's start with March 4th, my birthday. March 4th is also associated, which it's sonnet number 63. So it's missing the 9 for my 369. So we'll read the 9 as well. It's also Nelson Mandela's, it's also associated, March 4th is associated with August 5th. And that's the day that Nelson Mandela was arrested. So against my love shall be as I am now, with time's injurious hand crushed and cern. It's so easier to read in your own head. When hours have drained his blood and filled his brow with lines and wrinkles, when his youthful morn hath travelled on age's steepy night, and all those beauties whereof now he's king are vanishing and banished out of sight, stealing away the treasure of his spring. For such a time do I now fortify against confounding age's cruel knife, that he shall never cut from memory my sweet love's beauty, though my lover's life, his beauty shall in these blank lines be seen, and they shall live and be in them still green. So, continuing with connections, let's just go ahead and go back to 9 and do 9. So 9 is associated with November 13th, January 9th, and June 17th. Civil War's first shot. And Nelson Mandela is jailed. That's the day he was sentenced, which is interesting, right? Okay, here we go. So this is the missing 9, Civil War in Mandela. It is for fear to wet a widow's eye, that thou consumest thyself in a single life. If thou issueless shalt hap to die, the world will wail thee like a makeless wife. The world will be thy widow, and still weep, that thou no form of these haste left behind, when every private window well may keep by children's eyes her husband's shape in mind. Look, what an unthrift in the world doth spend, shifts but his place. For still in the world enjoys it, but beauty's waste hath in the world an end, and keep unused. The usher so destroys it. No love towards others in that bosom sits, that on himself such murderous shame commits. So the other one I wanted to read, let's go ahead and, since we're here, we're talking about mothers and maternal stuff. So let's go ahead and go to June 19th. That's my mother's birthday. It's also November 20th. Now, I went back. I haven't looked at the gematria in a long time for me, so I went ahead and went back, and there was a date I found. November 20th. So I looked up November 20th, and it's the sonnet number 16. Okay? So this is associated for my mother, but it's also associated for me for whatever reason. So this says, the way I look at it is these, and December 13th. These two passages I feel like are just a communication to me, as well as associated with my mother. But wherefore do not you a mightier way? Wait, let's start over. But wherefore do you a mightier way make war upon this bloody tyrant, time, and fortify yourself in your decay with means more blessed than my barren rhyme? Now stand you on top of happy hours, and many maiden gardens yet unset, with virtuous wish would bear your living flowers, much liker than your painted counterfeit. So should the lines of life, I really hope that's not messing up too much. Might as well go to that. Much liker than your painted counterfeits, so should be the lines of life that life repairs, which this time's pencil or my pupil pen, neither in inward worth nor outward fair, can make you live yourself in eyes of men. To give away yourself keeps yourself still, and you must live drawn by your own sweet skill. Before we do another one, let's go ahead and do this one. It's the anniversary of, it's November 22nd. JFK, 18, Sonnet 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. And it says eye of heaven, not plural. And often in his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometimes declines, by chance or nature's changing course untimed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor loss possession of that fair thou'st. Not shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in external lines to time thou growths. Internal lines, like family lines. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. This one has had me fucking bawling like a baby. Okay, this is, I had circled it like, oh, well, it's 33, so, I wanted to pay attention to it at some point. So I've only read the sonnets that I have gone to specifically. I haven't read the other ones, because I want them to be, when the time's right, there will be a reason to look it up. That's the way I work. So anyways, I looked up my grandfather's birthday, July 6th, and that is sonnet 33. So, Jim Cook. Full of many glorious mornings have I seen, flatter the mountain tops with sovereign eyes, kissing the golden face of the meadows green, gilding pale streams with heavenly alchemy. Anon permit the basest clouds to ride with ugly wrack on his celestial face, and from the forlorn world his visage hide, stealing unseen to west with this disgrace. Even so my sun one early morning did shine, with all triumphant splendor on my brow. But out, alack, it reminds me of the poem I said when I was like, whispered to me, but aloud, it's in my poem. That's what I read when I first read it. He was but 1 hour of mine. The rain could hath masked him from me now, yet him for this my love no with disdainish. I can't say it. Sums of the world may stain when heaven's sun staineth. So here's December 13th. Oh, how thy worth with manners may I sing, when thou art all the better parts of me. What can mine own praise to mine own self bring? And what isn't but mine own when I praise thee? Even for this let us divide live, God, and our dear love those name of single ones, or a single one, and our dear love those name of single one, that by this separation I may give that due to thee which thou deservest alone. O absence, what a torment wouldn't thou prove, were it not thy sour leisure gave sweet leave to entertain the time with thoughts of love, which time and thoughts so sweetly doth deceive, and that thou teachest how to make one twain, by praising him here who doth hence remain. That's sonnet 39. Oh, it's missing 6. Oh, 6 has not been read. And I think the last ones, oh no, we gotta do Titanic. So there's 3 more. Okay. Let's do Titanic real quick. Lincoln's Shot, Titanic. So something to do with, you know, April 1st and all the holidays and why they're significant. And also the whole JFK and Lincoln correlations. It's got to have something to do with something. But thoroughly, you really have to watch that whole series on decoding Shakespeare. So this is sonnet 104 for April 14th for Titanic and when Lincoln was shot. How much time do I have? Okay, we're getting this done. I can at least edit. At least I did one part. So help me God, I have to be okay with this recording. Don't care about what you look like. Like coming at it at a decent angle. So this is my new pet peeve, is my wrinkly neck, but we're just gonna have to let that go. Just do a little, oh yeah, there's like little things where you could literally just, anyways, so getting sidetracked. To me, fair friend, you never can be old, for as you were when first your eye I eyed, such seems your beauty still. 3 winters cold have from the forest shook 3 summers pride. 3 beauteous springs to yellow autumn turned in process of the seasons have I seen. 3 April perfumes in 3 hot Junes burned, since first I saw you fresh, with yet are green, yet dost beauty like a dial hand, steal from his figure and no pace perceived. So your sweet hue, which methinks still doth stand, hath motion, and mine eye may be deceived, for fear of which, hear this, thou age unbred, ere you were born was beauty's summers dead. So you have to understand when the Titanic, I mean, you have to research this stuff for yourself, but when they knew there was a problem with the Titanic, I think it took them like 24, they reported falsely that everyone aboard was fine to not cause chaos. They're busy covering it up. The fires in Hawaii, they are blocking it off. They have to clean up and take care of things. This is like 9/11. You're going to have to understand and deal with it. Find the truth for yourself, but you're going to have to research it versus just taking the information for what it is. You are the ones that will assist our enslavers. And I'm sick of being a slave, and so should you. Period. So there's another thing too, like some people say they get talked to like with, I think it's just my alter ego, is I'm a very strong-willed, aggressive person. If you've seen the flip side to me, you know how aggressive I can be when I have to be. Two more. This is a big one for me. So I have 2 sons with 2 different men, and I am not going to go into the details, but not now at least. It's very therapeutic. I just, I don't even have a friend to talk to, so I might as well just vomit it to the world, right? Because we are all just each other. I mean, that's it. I'm just a human being on this earth trying to fucking figure it out. And I feel like at this point, because of how robotic and zombie-like people are, I feel like I'm leaning more towards the Matrix. I've already been toying with the idea of Divine and Matrix being married together, and that's more than likely the case. But to be fair, I don't know, there's a huge correlation, and this could just be purely Matrix at this point. Prove me wrong. Somebody talk to me about this. Somebody engage with me about this. So, my older son's father is, his birthday is August 18th. That's sonnet number 76. Why is my verse so barren of new pride, so far from variation or quick change? Why with the time do I not glance aside to newfound methods and to compounds strange? Why write I still all one, ever the same, and keep invention in the noted weed? That every word doth almost tell my name, showing their birth and where they did proceed. Oh no, sweet love, I always write to you, and you and love are still my argument. So all my best is dressing old words new, spending again what is already spent. For as the sun is daily new and old, so is my love still telling what is told. I was thinking, as I enjoyed a nice hot shower, the beauty in simple things sometimes. Really, what's the difference between sunset and sunrise? If we were to ignore past and future and just focus on a present moment, or if and that's all that is whatever is in that present moment, a sunrise is the same as a sunset. There is no difference. It's in a position in time with no obligation or memory of whether it's going in any direction whatsoever. The way that it made me feel when I thought of that is the only people that are going to save this world of humanity, whether it's just this earth or not, investigate for yourself, is for the people who are not a part of the greedy system, who know they have heart and who want to be on the right side of history, who want to be a warrior for truth. There's nothing more powerful than that. I would die for this cause because my ego has always been annoying and I like to be right. So I'm harnessing that for good. And I would die for this cause. If I was not a mother, I'd be so much more aggressive. But that's the point. That's too much aggressiveness. You have to find duality. But it's the people who have always been told it's the simple nature, all you have to do. And I have a presentation coming where I'll go more into shit, but it's a proven fact that you can physically change what's happening in this world right now, and I can prove it. So then I'll read the passage associated with my second father's son, my second son's father, whose birthday, he's a Pisces as well, so his birthday is March 16th. His sonnet number is 75. Ironically, the one before Jeremy's. So are you to my thoughts as food to life, or as sweet seasoned showers are to the ground? And for the peace of you I hold such strife. As twixt a miser, as twixt a miser and his wealth is found. Now proud as an enjoyer, and anon doubting the fletching age. God, doubting the fletching with steal his treasure. Doubting the fletching age will steal his treasure. Now counting best to be with you alone, then bettered than the world may see my pleasure. Sometimes all full with feasting on your sight, and by clean starved for a look, possessing or pursuing no delight, save what is had or must from you be took. Thus do I pine, and sufficient day for day, or gluttony all. I'm not going to read this part. So how do I wrap this shit up? It's 4:05. I have a little bit of time before Wesley comes home. I just want one, and it does piss me off, and this is basically like what I want to get at is I'm pulling every amount of fucking grace that I have, being ignored and not even loosely it's insulting that friends and family can't even support my sobriety. This is my sobriety. No one gives a fuck. It feels like everyone wants to just see me fail, and that's not gonna happen. But at what point does it feel embarrassing that I'm not getting support? But people can do some fucking dumbass shit and get millions and millions of people to follow them. This is a world, we are already in World War III. This is the fucking war of the mental. It's the most important war that's ever been had of the psyche. You are choosing your path. You're choosing to be enslaved step by step. They've slowly coerced you. They have literally, you are in an abusive relationship with your governments. And I will explain a lot more in my presentation when I can have the mental health and support that I only have to give myself while I'm trying to be a good mom. It's hard because why am I working so hard or feel such pressure to do it when no one's listening? Because ultimately, I guess I'm I have to do it. You have to do it for yourself. But I've said this before, but I'm okay with being alone. I'm very comfortable with being alone. I have PTSD from being in relationships with people, though. So as much as I crave even having a friend to just check in with or someone to talk to about deep stuff, I don't really crave it either. It's very confusing. If you want to know how to support me, just say something. And at least even like my shit. And for the ones that do, you're the real... You know who you are that do support me in the ways that you do, so this doesn't apply. But, we're talking about completely isolated for going on 4 years now, so... there's a lot that could be assessed from what I've gone through the last 4 years. What can be assessed? I mean, why everything's happening, or the power of mental. He describes in the show that word for people who will look for signs for self prophecy or whatever. And well, that inside itself is for things that are not really there, which that itself is a bias, and science is questioning science. That's literally the definition of science. And so I'm saying, if that's true, then I just want someone to talk to me about this stuff. And I don't need to talk to anybody about this specifically. This is me. This is my gift to myself from myself from another time. I don't know. But what I do know is I have a million fascinating, fun subjects to research, to explore, that will help deeper internal self-awareness. There is so many different avenues of topics to research that will actively, willfully change the world outside of us. You can either grab a bookmark or grab a symbol, work on your inside self, or work on the education and the knowledge. You're going to read truth and fallacies. There's truth hidden within all the fallacies, and your job is to discern it. And you'd be surprised. You'll know. And when you don't know and you're at a brick wall, walk away, go somewhere else. It will come back. Research the gist of everything. The gist. And then if it leads you back, go deeper. I mean, that's the internal work. The external work is fucking buck up. Period. The facts are here. There are so many facts that are here present. You just can't see them because you choose not to, and that's part of the programming, and that's provable. So we need to stop choosing to be blind, because this war is going to be won specifically not by the evil people coming at us. It's going to be by the people who are not doing a damn thing about it, who are just standing there, not picking a side. Pick a fucking side, period. You're either over there with the bad people, or you're doing nothing assisting the bad people, because that's what they've programmed you to do. Am I the only single little bratty ass child that grew up with a mind of her own? What the fuck? And that's really what it boils down to. It gets angering that nobody is taking a stand for your rights as a sovereign being. Fuck. And it brings it back down to like when people were wearing the masks just right there. That infuriated me. Because no, I already griped about that. So we're not going to open up that can of worms. I feel good that I did that. So help me God. Hopefully it's obviously not going to go out today. Who knows what's going on. I want to show these rings. I got a total of 5 jars for about $60. No, I got another jar this week, so like $70. You know those, I'm looking at myself again. Can you tell that I'm looking at it? It's just more comfortable to look at me versus like fucking cameras everywhere. It's just weird to me. I'd rather look at myself. Anyways, so the jars, and you have to understand they were packed full of so much good quality jewelry that it's stupid. But I wanted to show off these rings that were obviously put in here for me. Because that's what it feels like, you know. Well, that's what it was. When you see all the jewelry and all the symbolism and everything and just my taste and quality, you just can't even argue. You can't. Where are you at? And this camera sucks though. So here's a fun one. And this is like a stretchy ring. Same with this flower one. And then look at that bad boy. This is awful. This is so hard to do. And then this I got out of the first jar. The first few jars were just stupid. Oh, it's stuck. Maybe that's why it wasn't hanging the way I wanted it to. Look at this. It's not going to come across as pretty as it is. This one seems turned around funny. I can fix that. There's this one necklace I need to fix because it wasn't doing that before. I wonder how that did that. Oh, anyways. So my whole idea, first of all, I get sidetracked so easily. I was researching, when I say researching, I have an idea and I Google something real quick and I get a quick answer. Anyways, so, but a lot of times, but there was, the idea of a beard is to signify, wisdom. So it's making me think like, if this is bothering me so much, I should really just sport this. Anyways, so a lot of these necklaces, really, I want to use them as adornments. This is also very River. Like, I'm going to imitate. River has been my friend. River's been my only friend. You think I'm joking? And that's how I keep up on UK news. She's really not my friend. She ignored me too when I reached out to her. But the point is, there's this one bracelet that is copper leaves. I don't know if you can see it, but it is so freaking gorgeous. I just don't want to undo the thing right here. But this one, I swear, so pretty. Is it expensive? Because there is this one necklace. I was able to look it up, and it's like $100 and something, like $160 something, something stupid. But I cannot find this, but it is so freaking pretty. It's not gonna focus. Oh, there it goes, I think. It is so pretty. And some of these things, like, you know and that's my point, is you don't know what's expensive and what's not, and who cares how much it costs. That's why all the jewelry that I want to give away or sell, like, just, donate something to me. Like, if we all chose to go to Goodwill and recycled our things, what a better but see, that's not, they need us to consume. They need us to buy the new thing. That's how this enslavement works. But I have a plan. Simple. And people think a world without government would be anarchy. Yes. Yes, it would. There would be no rulers. Yes, it would. But it's not in the ways that they say it's going to be. Anyways, and it's just a choice. Fuck, man. What time is it? It's just a choice. Smoke one more cigarette before Wesley comes home. What you gotta do? Let's end the video.